Hello hunters, and welcome to my journey to solo every single monster in Monster Hunter World. Previously, I slaughtered my way through the introduction of the game with the dual blades, the light bowgun, and the lance. And now that the dust has settled and my burning hatred for flying monsters has died down, it's time to pick the path of our Lord and Saviour, the hammer. Now the goal of the hammer is to swiftly and forcefully deliver head pats. You just pat the monster on the head with the hammer until it falls asleep. Permanently. Let me demonstrate. This is Diablos. And he is the ideal candidate to receive head pats. Not only does he have a huge pattable head, he has these two massive horns, which he uses to stab, swing, and impale anyone who gets too close. But once you give him enough head pats, those horns just fall right off. And after a couple more pats, he goes straight to bed. What a good boy, just look at him all tuckered out there. Time to harvest his corpse and become a more efficient killing machine. Now at this point in the story, we've been following a trail of volcanic scales being dropped across the continent, and we've concluded that the source of these scales is Zorah Magdaros, the largest monster in the world, the walking volcano, the Godzilla of the Monster Hunter world. And he wants to die a nice and peaceful death in the new world. Now, we can't have that, can we? The natural death of such a huge monster will lead to devastating consequences to the environment and the ecosystem it sustains. So, in order to preserve the ecosystem and the natural order of things, we need to kill this fucker. At least divert him away from his deathbed. So, we set up this defensive wall, show him who's boss, watch him swim off into the sunset with a new burning passion to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, we don't really get to kill him, so let's just skip over that entire fight and move on to the next monster. The Pink Rathian. There's just one other issue. This guy sucks balls. Now the first issue with the Pink Rathian is the Nergigante. This guy comes into my fight and interrupts every chance I get to give the Pink Rathian some head pats. The second issue is that I've just been one shot once, twice, and basically thrice. Now, if you're thinking, wow, those monsters must be really tough to be one-shotting you would be wrong, because I've been ignoring one of the most important aspects of Monster Hunter World: the gear. Having good gear is pretty important when it comes to hunting monsters, especially if you're not that good at the game. And as it turns out, I've sort of just been ignoring the problem and hoping my raw, unmatched skill could carry me through the game. So, it's time to face reality and get the best gear from the toughest monster out there, Zorah Magdaros.
Everyone, please, quiet down.
Now, before I start, I just wanted to say I was wrong about Zorah Magdaros, because he 100% counts as a kill. After killing him several times over, I acknowledged the errors of my ways, and I hope we can move past this together.
One more thing.
Because I have this quest figured out like clockwork. So, here's how to kill Zorah Magdaros in 4 easy steps. Step 1. Smash in all the spikes. Step 2. Drop some spikes off the ceiling. Step 3. Ignore Nergigante. I mean, look how small he is. There's no way he could take out Zorah Magdaros. And finally, step 4. I load this cannon 5 times to shoot the cannon, my pallet goes then loaded, shoot the cannon, this NPC is loading this one by the ramp, I jump off the ramp, fall off the platform every single time, activate the dragon head and shoot both these cannons, load the middle cannon 5 times, shoot all the cannons down here again, fly up, shoot this cannon, and this cannon. And he's dead. Now that I have my gear, it's time to kill the pink Rathian. With that wrapped up, it's time to hunt my 4th and final monster with the hammer. One of the hardest monsters in the base game. It's Nergigante. This bad boy is at the top of the food chain. Not only is he an elder dragon, he actively hunts elder dragons. He's fast, he hits like a truck, and you see those spikes covering his body? Well, not only do they protect him from damage, the longer they survive, the larger and blacker they get. And once those big black spikes are fully grown, Nergigante will unleash his ultimate move, the dive bomb. Luckily for me, there's one simple counter, the super move. So, let's get ready to rumble.
Back at camp.
Now that I've topped the food chain, it's time to get rid of this piece of junk. And pick up the Hammer 2.0, the Hunting Horn. Now, the Hunting Horn can do everything the hammer can. It delivers head pats and lets you become the ultimate Blade champion, and it plays music. It's like someone took a set of bagpipes and said, what if instead of just audibly assaulting your ears, it could also smash your face in? There's only one issue I have with the hunting horn. All the hunting horns I can unlock at this moment look like absolute shit. Like, I don't care how much you like bagpipes, I don't want to be slapping monsters around with this ball sack of a weapon. The only thing that looks remotely good is this pink bell, and it just so happens that I previously killed a pink Rathian. Which means I'm free to kill as many pink Rathians as I need to craft this spell. So, I'll grab myself a basic hunting horn and get started. Okay hunters, this farming session is taking a bit longer than expected. I mean, each hunt is taking me close to 20 minutes to complete. Now, I'm not giving up on my vision of a pretty pink hunting horn, I'm simply crafting a practice horn to prepare for the actual hunts. It's not like I imposed any restriction on what weapon variation I could use. Well, would you look at that? I've more than doubled my hunt speed.
Nice.
Now, it's only been 9 kills so far, but I've finally gotten my first Rathian Spike Plus. Wait a moment, why is that a Spike Plus? I need normal spikes. How do I get normal spikes? I need to hunt low rank Rathians? Well, it can't be that hard, right? It's not like a lower tier material would be harder to farm. Right? Okay, since this is taking a while, let me explain to you how looting and farming works in Monster Hunter World. Every monster has a drop table, and once it's dead, you can carve the monster's corpse to get a chance at some of that sweet loot. Now for the Rathian Spike Plus, I had a 16% chance to get it from a carving, and for the normal spike, I have a 7% chance. But wait, there's more. When you kill a monster, you don't just get a single carve, you get 3 carves total, which means every time I kill a Rathian, I don't have a flat 7% chance of getting a Rathian spike. I have an 18% chance of getting at least 1 spike, a 1.3% chance of getting 2 spikes, and a 0.03% chance of getting all 3 spikes in one hunt. The only exception to this is if I happen to cut the tail, because it's a tail spike. Get it? You get the tail spike from the tail, right? So, if I cut the tail and carve it, I have an incredible 70% chance of getting a spike, which means this would basically be over after 3 or 4 hunts, if I cut the tail. So, let's give that a go. Let me try this. Okay, so it turns out the hunting horn, which is basically a better version of the hammer, isn't very good at cutting, just like a hammer. In fact, it turns out that the only move in the hunting horn's entire moveset that does cutting damage is this. That's right, this. And try as I might, each time I did this, I had to do at least one non-cutting move to reset. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the maths is here, but I'm basically gonna kill the monster before I even get a chance to cut that tail. So, I guess it's back to the drawing board. I wonder if there's anything else I can do to speed this up. Well, it turns out there are more improvements I can make. The first one is all about traps. Instead of killing the Rathian every single time, I can just beat her ass until she's whimpering and on the brink of death, as indicated by the skull icon. Drop a trap and 2 sleeping bombs, and her ass is mine. Now, instead of having to wait 60 seconds to return to camp, I only need to wait 20 seconds. And if I'm paying attention, I can trap the Rathian before she even realizes her ass is mine and tries to flee, which is basically another minute saved. And on top of all that time saved, as an extra benefit of taking the capture pill, I get an extra calf. That's right, I get 4 pieces of loot instead of 3. That's an extra 33% loot for less effort, time, and less risk. So, why haven't you taken the capture pill yet? Plus, if you capture a monster, you can fight them again in the arena. That's basically double the loot from a single monster. I also tried trapping them again for infinite arena fights, but unfortunately, the game is smarter than that. Now the second improvement is to break the monster.
Oh, harder, Daddy!
Not like that. Each monster is composed of several body parts, with different strengths and weaknesses, and each of these body parts can be broken. This can cause the monster to become more vulnerable to damage, cause its attacks to become weaker, and sometimes even removes an attack entirely. But more importantly, each time you break a part, you get extra loot. That's right, when you break a part, you get extra loot. So instead of just beating the Rathian to the brink of death every time, I'm going to be inflicting the maximum amount of pain possible by systematically destroying her head, legs, wings and back.
Oh, my back is killing me.
That's effectively 4 extra chances of getting the Rathian spike. At least that's how I think the math works. And finally, we have investigations. These are missions that can be randomly unlocked while you're out and about in the world. They have random targets, random conditions, and most importantly, extra rewards. Up to 5 extra rewards with a variety of different rarities ranging from bronze to purple. So let's just say I've soloed my fair share of Rathians. After all, it only took 22 hunts to get my first Rathian spike, 26 hunts for my second one, and 30 hunts total to get that third and final one. Finally craft the bell and upgrade it into its glorious pink form. I'm still missing some materials. I need a Rathian ruby, which has a 2% chance of dropping. Wow, look at that. First try. A wyvern gem, which has a 5% chance of dropping. Only took 4 barrels. And now I've finally gotten the pink hunting horn. Isn't it just the best? Now, to get that final version of the pink hunting horn, I need Elder Dragon Blood. 3 Elder Dragon Blood. Well, what do you know? I need to go kill 3 Elder Dragons. The first Elder Dragon on the list is Kushala Dora. Now, all Elder Dragons have a gimmick. For example, Zorah Magdaros is Godzilla, and Nergigante has his big black spikes. Kushala Dora is no exception, but he might have the most annoying gimmick of all time. His gimmick is the wind. It's not a simple breeze, no. He literally has a shield of wind around him that will knock you back every time you try to hit him. He also likes to leap into the air and blast you with wind. So, instead of a nice and decent hunt filled with on the edge of your seat action, 35 minutes walking around getting knocked about by the wind.
Disagree right now.
You get in, fall back and wait for the next chance. Stupidity is not. You alright? That was seriously impressive.
Next up is Vaal Hazak. Like Kushala Dora, who is coated in wind, Vaal Hazak is coated in the substance as well, only it's a lot less annoying. Effluvium, which you can think of as miasma or rot. Now, if you're unlucky enough to be exposed to this miasma, you don't get knocked around. You just lose like 90% of your health bar and have to run around like a headless chicken while downing berries and mega potions. Now, I could stack some effluvium resistance gems and essentially become immune to the gimmick, but do I look like I took the time to prepare for this fight? I just spent 35 minutes getting knocked about by the wind. And to wrap it all up, our final target Teostra. Now, Teostra is a pretty straightforward fight, because he isn't coated in wind like Kushala Dora, or covered in effluvium like Vaal Hazak. Teostra is coated in explosives. And he's completely armored except for his forearms and face. That means the best way to deal damage to Teostra is to stand in front of him and smash his face in. And the best way to get damage by Teostra is to stand in front of him and have your face smashed in. But if you know your stuff, or just happen to get incredibly lucky, there just so happens to be a bit of a blind spot right here. So all you need to do is get nice and close and go to town. With the 3 Elder Dragons dead and their blood drained, I'm finally ready to upgrade my Queen Coral Cord into its final form. But first, it's time to throw it all in the trash and move on to our next weapon. The biggest, most badass weapon in the entire franchise, the Greatsword.